All right, folks, welcome back to Tablebuzz. This week we have Morgan Ellis on. He's a pro hockey player. Just came back from the Olympics, one of the best hockey products from Prince Edward Island, former Mem Cup champion. Morgan, how you doing?
Good, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for hopping on. As we mentioned, you just came back from Beijing, and you're already back at practice today. So hard worker, we can already tell. So how was Beijing?
Yeah, no, it was pretty cool. Pretty cool experience. Obviously, I was there before when I was in the KHL, but obviously for a different reason. And this time it was the Olympics, so it was a pretty cool setup. It was obviously you're kind of in a little bubble. You couldn't really do much, but that was no problem with that. But the rules are pretty strict, but it was definitely a pretty cool opportunity.
So was the experience in the Olympic Village everything you had hoped to be, or it sounds like you weren't allowed to do as much as you would have normally been in the past?
Yeah, obviously because COVID, it was a little bit more strict, but I mean, I wouldn't have been there if it wasn't for COVID. So, yeah, I mean, obviously you have expectations, but you don't really know what to expect when you're going to the Olympics because obviously haven't experienced anything like that before other than watching it on TV. But it was almost surreal. Like you get there and just the whole setup they have, and especially being with Canada, they take such good care of you. First thing you get in your room, you have your Lulu package, and then you have all your Team Canada stuff, and then you get to the rink, you have more Team Canada stuff. It's yeah, it was pretty surreal. It was just a great experience. Met a lot of great people too. Unfortunately, we didn't come home with any hardware, but definitely had the team to do it. But just short term, it's like that. It's you run into a lot of things, and end of the day, Sweden beat us and they advanced, and we didn't. But yeah, a lot of great memories and met a lot of great people, and it was something to remember forever for sure.
Wicked, yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, I hope you keep that Lulu gitch forever. That shit's tight.
Oh yeah, no, definitely try to hold on to that.
What was it like leading up? Like the NHLers were supposed to go, and were you anticipating possibly them not being allowed to go, or did it just come out one day and you were like, holy shit, I might be going?
Yeah, I mean, when I was in Moscow for the Channel One Cup, there was kind of rumblings then that the NHL wasn't going to go, and kind of throughout the tournament, people were saying, this could be the team that goes there, this and that. But it was so far away. It wasn't that far away, but in hockey terms, it was still a ways away. A lot can change, in the span of whatever it was, 2 months. And when the tournament ended, that's when kind of things started progressing a little bit more. Like Spangler Cup just got canceled, and then they were kind of talking that the NHL was pulling out, and sure enough, they did. And then, that's kind of when you start thinking maybe you have a chance. And obviously, being at the Channel One, I thought I might have had a possibility, and then coming down to it, I got a call saying from the GM that I'd be going as a reserve, and I wondered if I'd be interested. And of course, I was definitely interested in going as a reserve, and could never know what happens. And sure enough, something happened, and I was able to get into some games. So, yeah, obviously, I know some people that turned down going to be a reserve, and they had different reasons than me, family reasons or whatever it was maybe. But yeah, just it was a no-brainer for me to go as a reserve and kind of just see what happens from there. And luckily enough, something happened, and I was able to participate in some games.
Wicked, yeah. So it was just like a pure invite. There wasn't like a training camp or anything like that.
Well, we went to Davos. I think I left the 25th of January. So we were there for 7 to 8 days as a mini camp, kind of like the team was there. And then there was the 5 extra players, including myself. And yeah, it was just a mini training camp, kind of get used to each other and do some video and just everyone get familiar. And then I think it was the day I left. That's when they announced that they would be bringing a taxi squad. But up until that point, I didn't hear anything. So it's kind of just until someone says, "Hey, here's your plane ticket, you're going." It was kind of just didn't want to get my hopes up to think you're going to the Olympics and then something happened, because in the hockey world a lot can happen pretty quick, and obviously playing the amount of years that I have so far, a lot has happened, ups and downs and this and that. So I just didn't want to get my hopes up, and then luckily it was a couple of days before we were leaving that I got switched to the roster. So obviously pretty excited, and yeah, it was very fortunate for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. you kind of alluded to it there a little bit. Did you know many of the players going in, like on the Canada team?
Like obviously I knew Gorms and Kevy. I mean, he was part of the staff.
Yeah.
There was probably, I knew some guys, not a whole lot to be honest. I mean, the guys that were at the Channel One, I knew them, of course, but I'd say half the team I probably didn't know. I mean, some guys like Darnay, I was at Montreal camp with him before, and but yeah, I'd say half the team I probably never met before. Maybe I played against some of them, but when you're at stuff like that, it doesn't take long to get acquainted with everyone. You're all there for the same thing. So yeah, we all got pretty close there, and you know, I mean, you're together for a month, and you know, there's not really much else to do other than hang out. So yeah, obviously we became close friends with a lot of them, and yeah, it was pretty cool time for sure.
Cool. Yeah. So you mentioned David Desharnais there. You had a couple games up in the NHL with the Habs. What was that like, making it to the big stage?
Yeah, I mean, hard to believe that was what, six years ago at least, maybe more. I mean, it was yeah, definitely one of those experiences. I mean, obviously Olympics is probably up there for sure. I mean, you know, being able to crack an NHL team and play whatever 3 games, it was definitely special. And it was first game was in Anaheim, so it was yeah, I mean, it was a lot of hard work, and you know, you got to have a good support system around you, and luckily I did. The big thing was just trying to stay consistent, and you know, not getting too high, not getting too low. It's because, like I said before, the hockey world things can change quick, and yeah, it's, you just got to stay consistent. That's kind of what it was. And there was some injuries, and luckily I was able to get up, and didn't play as well as I would have liked to, of course, because if I would have, I still would have maybe got some more games. But I mean, that's happens to a lot of people. So I was just very fortunate enough to get up and get some games, and it was a great trip to it. We played in Anaheim, LA, and then finished off in Winnipeg. So nice little California trip. But yeah, it was just a dream come true as a kid. I mean, anyone that plays hockey, the dream is playing the NHL, and you know, I can still remember the day like it was yesterday, and it was just one of those things you'll remember for the rest of your life. And yeah, like I said, a great support system around me, and obviously a lot of it goes up to them.
Yeah, must have been pretty wicked.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So you ended up spending a lot of time down in the AHL. Do you have any fond memories of your time there?
Yeah, I mean, I spent most of my career there in majority of my career in North America there. I was in Hamilton, St. John's, Chicago. Met a lot of great people. Obviously, you know, you go in as a 20-year-old. It's really the first time you're living on your own, and I lived with a couple rookies as well, Patrick Holland and Brendan Gallagher. So we were kind of in it together, and you know, not really knowing what to expect. It was a lockout year, so but yeah, I had a lot of fun off the hop and met a lot of great people. It was better part of 3 years in Hamilton. I spent a little bit of time down with the Wheeling Nailers in the East Coast Hockey League as well, and then the year in St. John's. I mean, obviously, when you have your best year personally, everything's a little bit more fun. But St. John's, I had a blast. It was the travel was tough. Obviously, you know, being in St. John's, you're pretty far from a lot of teams, so we'd be 2 weeks on the road and 2 weeks at home. So definitely got some air miles that year, but it was a lot of fun. It was a great crowd there. I mean, we were really the only team in town that I can think of. So we had great crowds, especially when, you know, the Marlies came into town, or just anybody. It was always usually, you know, maybe a Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, or Saturday, Sunday type of schedule for games. And yeah, we got a lot of fond memories there. It was just a great group of guys, and a great city to play in. And then the next year I was in Chicago, St. Louis farm team for the year, and another great group. I was very fortunate to play a lot of great guys, great teams. And yeah, it was just a great setup there. I mean, where we were living, we're about 40 minutes from downtown Chicago. So, you know, downtown Chicago has basically anything you wanted to go to. If my wife wanted to go to a ballet or whatever it was, we could go pretty easily. And yeah, and I was really lucky to play there. And then after that year, I kind of had enough of the grind in the American League, especially the defenseman. You know, you get plastered against the glass 5-6 times a game, and it's you know, that's the thing a lot of the people don't realize. It's just the grind of your body. It's especially as a D man in the American League, it's a lot more physical than the NHL, and guys that are just so close to making it to the NHL, it's, you're obviously going to do whatever you can to get there. And if you got to blow up someone through the glass, it's obviously happens quite a bit. But yeah, I kind of just had enough of that. Wanted to go travel with my wife and obviously play in top leagues in Europe and still play good hockey and kind of see a different side of the world. And fortunately, I've been able to do that for the last, I think this is my 5th year now in Europe. So really enjoyed it so far, and played in a lot of great places, met a lot of great people. So I've been pretty lucky.
Yeah, St. John's for an AHL team, I'd say you got pretty lucky, especially being close to home and an island that's similar to the one you grew up on, for sure too.
Yeah. I mean, the people there are just so friendly. I mean, it's exactly like back home. When there was one time I just held the door for a guy and ended up talking about 20 minutes, knew all about his family, what his wife was doing, what his daughters were working at. It was, it's kind of the things you really appreciate about the Maritimes, and especially from living away all the time. It's just how down to earth everyone is, and it's definitely a breath of fresh air when you come home at the end of the year, for sure.
Yeah.
Is there anywhere over in Europe that kind of resembles PEI or the Maritimes a little bit?
Not where I've played. I mean, the Maritimes and PEI are pretty unique spots. So,
Yeah.
I played in Sweden, Germany, Russia, Latvia, and yeah, nothing's home. I mean, that's why it's home, right? Home's home. So, but like I said, played in a lot of great cities, met a lot of great people, but I'm definitely always look forward to getting home at the end of the year and spend as much time there as I can.
Yeah, it seems like pro hockey over in Europe has a whole other side to it that you don't even think about. Like, you get to go try living in a new country and it's all paid for and stuff. Like, it offers incredible experiences. Was your wife over there the whole time with you?
Yeah. Obviously, like you said, they cover a lot more of the expenses here, which help. In the American League, you got to pay for your apartment, maybe you got to rent a car. So I mean, stuff like that over your career, it really adds up, especially living in places like Chicago and stuff like that. But yeah, my wife, she came to Sweden. Then we were in Germany the next year. Then the next year I was in Russia, and we were pregnant with our second boy, and so we thought it just best that she stays home that year. We're kind of thinking maybe she would come at the end of the year, but going to Russia, it's quite a process to get there. Obviously, it's not just booking a flight, hopping on a plane, and getting there. There's a lot of paperwork, visas, and a bunch of tests you got to do. So it takes a while, especially with a newborn baby and just a young toddler at the time. It would have been a lot for her to travel all the way to Sochi, Russia, with 2 kids. So just try to battle through that season. Obviously, it was tough for both of us, but especially for her with a toddler and a newborn. So yeah, she stayed home that year. Then my next year I started in Russia with Latvia. It was the same thing. She stayed home because the training camps are so long there. It's you're basically 8 weeks doing 2-a-days, and you don't get much time at home. So, and even when you are home, you're just so exhausted. You just want to lay in bed and kind of relax. So I started in Latvia, Riga last year, the KHL, and things just didn't go the way I would have liked, obviously. And I just wasn't playing good. I didn't really want to be there. And fortunately enough, I was able to get fired. But it was, I mean, no one ever wants to get fired. You never want to see someone lose a job, but I was pretty happy. It just worked out great. I mean, I wasn't enjoying it, and just for what I was giving up to be there, it just wasn't worth it. You got 2 little boys at home with a wife and dog, and it's kind of the side of hockey that people don't see. It's just the time away from your family that you give up. But like I said, I'm very fortunate enough to do what I do, and I know how lucky I am to do it. So it's sacrifice like that you got to endure. But then I just, honestly, after that, I didn't really care if I just went home and didn't play the rest of the year, because I wasn't really having fun with hockey, and it was just such a tough year mentally. So, but I still wanted to play, and a job came up in Germany, and it was, with Corona time and COVID, it was not a lot of money. But I didn't care. I just wanted to play and just kind of enjoy hockey again. And I was able to get my family there, and, probably had one of my funnest years I've had in a long time. We just had a great group of guys. It was COVID, and no one was making a lot of money. We're all doing the same thing. So it's just kind of, enjoy it, come to the rink, have some fun, and see what happens. Luckily, we were able to go. We're one game away from going to the finals, and actually lost to Berlin, and here I am now. But yeah, no, it was a lot of fun, and yeah, my wife is here this year as well. We all came over together, and definitely nice to have them here because it's such a long year to go through it by yourself. And another thing people don't see is just the traveling at the start of the year to get to where you're supposed to go. It's a tough travel day, and I mean it is only one day, but the days, the minutes and hours go by slow when you're traveling with kids, and anyone that's traveled with little toddlers and babies before, it's it's obviously not enjoyable. So anytime I'm on a plane now and you hear a baby losing their mind, it's kind of like, wow, it could be worse. I've been through there. I remember we landed in Berlin this year, and it was I forget how long it was. Probably, well, we ended up driving to Halifax because our dog was supposed to come originally, but then they wouldn't allow our dog to fly. So you get there 3 hours before the flight, 3.5 hour drive, and then maybe say 30 hours to get to Berlin. And I remember our oldest sits up. He's sitting beside my wife, and he just kind of sits up really quietly, turns around the seat, and just projectile throws up about 4 or 5 times in the seat. So it's just, it's things like that you remember for sure when you're traveling. Not enjoyable, but those are the things you kind of sit back when it's all done. You're going to kind of have a little chuckle, and we got here safe and sound, and yeah, that's what it's all about. Just those little stories along the way that you kind of sit back and gives you a little laugh.
Yeah,
all about the memories. That's unreal.
Not in the moment.
No, definitely.
You're swimming in it.
No, in the moment you're taking the cab, but in a 45-minute drive from the airport, and you look at your two boys, they're basically zombies, and then my wife's exhausted as well, and you're just kind of like, what am I doing? Like,
Yeah.
But at the same time, you think, it's one travel day here, one travel day home, and after that, you can kind of hopefully a little bit easier to travel with on the way home is what we're hoping. But
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out when the time comes.
Do you ever stick around whenever the season's over to like you said during training camp, you just want to relax and stuff whenever you're not playing hockey? Do you ever take advantage and just like take a train over to like another country for a little vacation at the end of the year, or
We haven't yet. So usually in Europe you get 2 breaks during the year. Like we just had the Olympic break. Obviously I was at the Olympics, but the guys and the team had 14 days off. So guys went to Spain. They went, obviously with COVID and stuff, travel's a little tough, but guys went to Croatia. I know Dubai is a hot spot for some people, but so those are the kind of moments that where you try to, when you have breaks like that, you try to take advantage of it. And I think in November we had about 7 days off. So we didn't go anywhere in particular, and it was kind of just we just relaxed and kind of roamed around the city for a bit because we've been here for a while, but just with the boys being in school and our schedule, we haven't really gotten to do a whole lot or seen the touristy spots that maybe the tourists would get out and see. But it's definitely a city that we wouldn't be in a rush to go home, but obviously when the season's over, we probably like to get home as quick as we can. But if you're stuck here for a week or so, it's definitely not a bad spot to be, and just so easy to travel. There's this is a side of Germany we haven't been on before. We were in Cologne, more on the west side, and then we're down in Bavaria last year, closer to about an hour from Munich. So yeah, it's definitely, you got a lot of options when you're in Europe to be able to travel places, and luckily we've been in some great places that allowed us to do that. So one of the good things about being in Europe, you can it's easy for flights, trains, and even driving. It's easy to go check out some other cities.
Yeah, it doesn't take 8 hours to get to another country like from PEI.
No, definitely a lot less driving for sure. And then when you get on the Autobahn, it's a little bit smoother for sure.
Yeah. Have you taken advantage of the Autobahn yet?
Oh yeah, no, we've been on it a couple times. Yeah. No, I had a friend had a pretty nice car last year. He took us for a little ride, and it was, a little eye opener for sure.
Yeah. I remember I was in France, and just everyone on the highways just buzzing along like 160 in these tiny little cars, just zipping around. It's sick.
Oh yeah, 160 is basically like you're doing 80 in PEI.
Yeah. That's unreal.
I seen on your Instagram there the rink you guys play in is really nice, the Mercedes Benz.
Yeah. No, we're pretty lucky. It's sorry, you go ahead there.
No, I was gonna say anything. I was just kind of set on awkward.
Yeah, no, it's I think it's the best rink in the league. No, we're lucky in this league. There's a lot of nice rinks, but we definitely have the nicest. I was up in the press box for one game there, and just the setup they have for the families and wives. It's, they got all the food spread out and nice box suites like you would see at the NHL basically. And it's, the owner of this team owns the LA Kings and a couple other teams. So he does pretty well for himself, and they definitely treat us well. And no exception at that rink. And even our practice rink is nice. We have, whatever you need, cold tub, saunas, it's nice gym. So they take care of us pretty good here. I'm very fortunate to be here, and my family and I are really enjoying it so far.
Yeah. Do you have any weird like intermission stuff? I know who was it on the Leafs? Marlowe, he gets in like the cold tub in between periods and stuff. Do you use much of that hooey stuff, or is it pretty?
No,
potatoes for you?
I'm pretty straightforward. I don't need too much before a game. Like I'm not superstitious, just put it that way. I kind of just get to the rink and kind of just get relaxed, feel good, and maybe just get warm for 10-15 minutes, try to get the body moving and just get out in the ice. I try not to be too superstitious, because I mean, you're all over the world, and especially being in Russia, it's so hard to get stuff. So you don't want to get set in a routine, because maybe something it's not hard to get thrown off from your routine. So I just try to take it as it comes, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, then that's the way it is.
Yeah. Now you got to drive on the left side of the road to the rink, and it just fucks you all up.
Oh yeah, no, people drive in the middle of the road back home, so it's fine.
Fair enough. And that's Tyne Valley, right? That's home.
East Biddeford, but yeah, I grew up playing out of Tyne Valley. My grandfather makes sure everyone knows it's East Biddeford.
Yeah. So, I mean, I can't imagine there's too many NHL alumni from East Biddeford. What's it like, coming from such a small town and making it big like so many people don't do?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you grow up just enjoying the game, and I never put too much thought of it when I was growing up. Obviously, I really enjoyed hockey and, put in the extra work, whether it was rollerblade and working out or just running stairs. And, for me, it was just, I always wanted to play at the highest level growing up. And, whether it started, it was Bantam AAA, then next year I wanted to play major midget. And then, after that, I wanted to play in the Quebec League. So the big thing is I just enjoyed it, and it's what I wanted to do. So no one forced me to do it. But it's definitely humbling, to come from such a small spot and just have, the support I do. It's, when I was at the Olympics, I had people calling my parents that, maybe they haven't talked to them in years, or maybe they didn't even know them. They were just calling to say how proud they were and just showing their support. So it's definitely pretty humbling for that. That's why I love home so much, and especially PEI. There's been everyone just reaching out saying good luck, and we're proud of you, this and that. So it's definitely nice. I think that's the coolest part of it all, where it's, it doesn't matter where you're at, people are still cheering you on, and they appreciate what you do. So it's definitely really appreciate that. And like I said, that's why I love home so much. And hopefully, we got some great players growing up back there, Zach Bigger and a couple other guys. So the PEI, it was kind of a little smaller when I was kind of skating. We had, Nathan McKeever, Adam McQuaid, and we had a great group, Ross Johnson, Ryan Graves isn't from PEI, but he was always with us, Ryan McKinnon. And, but you see, you're out skating in the summers now, there's so many more kids, and, Jordan Spence is having a great year in the American League, and, Jeremy McKenna is doing well, and you got Zach McEwen. It's, I'm for sure missing some names, but, in the summer skates, you see so many more kids now, which is, well, I shouldn't call them kids, they're younger than me, but they're whatever, 18 to 24. So it's great to see. And, it's because there's a lot of pride and passion come from PEI, and it's nice to see the players get rewarded and the families as well. And it's only the start. I give it another 5, 6, 7 years, there's going to be more. And, I love watching how the guys are doing. And I always, kind of try to stay tuned in to see how, obviously can't watch many games, but just to stay up to date and see how the guys are doing. It's nice to watch. And, it just, for me, I mean, coming from a small spot in West Burns, it just goes to show that just enjoy what you do and, put the work in, work hard, good things will happen. It's, like I said before, there's a lot of ups and downs, but can't get too high, can't get too low. It's just put in the work and try to stay positive and surround yourself with good people, and good things will happen.
Sound advice for sure.
Yeah, that list of PEI players is growing for sure.
Yeah, and you had guys like Drew McIntyre, Mark Flood as well. And, I think Drew just retired maybe last year, and Mark Flood's still playing. So it's, there's a lot of great players that came out of PEI and are going to continue to do so.
Exactly. And, there's like Drew, he's played in a bunch of European leagues. Do you ever reach out and say like what's Germany like, or what's this country like, scouting them out before you, commit to heading over there? Or what's it like?
Yeah, for sure. I remember when I signed in Sweden, we're all, we skated together, and they're kind of just filling me in. I was asking questions, and even when I signed to go in Russia, obviously both Mark and Drew played there. So you're asking questions and just trying to get any information you can at all. Cause just little things that you wouldn't know, like, obviously gear in Russia, it's basically, I wouldn't say it's impossible to get gear, but it's pretty tough. Like if you're, like they basically said, bring all your sticks. If you got 15 sticks, bring 15 sticks. Cause I think that year I used someone else's sticks the whole year. Like it was, just that's things you try not to get used to anymore. Like, you're set with your curve or your stick, but it's like, I get to Russia, my sticks aren't there. I'm usually used to using like a 105 paddle. And then I have to use like a skilled player's 85 flex stick, that's 5 inches smaller than my sticks. So you're just like, you just got to do what you got to do. But that's the stuff you remember, is you kind of sit back and laugh. Like, you want to get a pair of skates, but they're like, no, you use too many skates, you can't get skates. And you're like, you're playing in Russia. A lot of these guys are making pretty good money. You can't get me a pair of skates. Like it's just things you kind of laugh about, but you're forewarned before going there. So it's not like a surprise, but it's just funny to see the guys come over to Europe, and especially Russia, for the first time. I remember last year I had, some teammates in Riga, and Riga is obviously a special place because it's something happens every day basically when I was there. And guys be like, dude, what is going on? Like, you just be like, hey man, it's another day. Just shut your brain off. It's get through practice and, wait for the next day. That's the whole thing you really enjoy about it. It's just the journey, the people you meet, and kind of just the stories that you just sit back and you just think like, wow, like this is some of the things you see and go through. It's just like, it doesn't make sense, but you're playing hockey. It could be worse. So could be working 9 to 5 at a job you hate. So, you're playing hockey, and you just there's going to be some good days, bad days, but you just got to enjoy them.
100%. That's unreal. Oh yeah, there's one thing that we haven't touched on here that's pretty big. A Mem Cup champion. Want to fill us in a little bit about that? I think, did you play with Brandon Gormley that year?
Yeah, we both got traded there, and he broke his heel like 9 games in, but we basically played with each other most of pretty much all the Memorial Cup. But yeah, no, that was obviously a pretty cool experience. I played in Cape Breton 3.5 years prior to that, and got traded at the deadline. And Shawinigan was hosting, and I knew a couple guys in the team that I played with the previous. And but yeah, no, it was tough. We got put out game 7 the second round, so we had 28 games to get ready, and the coach definitely got us ready. We were doing 2 days. We'd go 3 days on, 1 day off, and for 28 straight days, and we'd be doing 2 a days, just getting, in hockey terms, bagged. Like you'd be running around the rink doing stairs, workouts, and then you'd be, 1-on-1 battles, 2-on-2, 3-on-3 all practice. Then you'd finish the practice and just get your guts skated out. And it was definitely pretty tough, but I mean, at the end of the day, that's why we won. We're just basically little robots. We're in such good shape, and the coach had us pretty dialed in, and it was definitely the hard work we put in prior to that definitely paid off, and that's definitely why we won. But we had if you look at the rosters, we played the London Knights in the finals, and if you look at the players they had, obviously a lot of them were younger, 16, 17, 18, but they had quite a lineup compared to ours, but we beat them in overtime and 2-1, and it was definitely a high moment for me in my career at that point. And still stay in touch with a lot of the guys. I shouldn't say a lot of them, but most of them. I have actually playing with Yannick Veilleux this year. He lives right next door to me, and he was on that team as well. And when he got traded here, obviously that's the first thing we talk about is, the Memorial Cup. And I played with Gormley since then, and it always comes up in conversation. And even when we got when we were in Davos, we won the Memorial Cup together, maybe we can win a gold medal. And so it was definitely a cool experience. I had my girlfriend at the time, and her family was at the Memorial Cup, and my parents were there. So just to have them there for that experience as well was, people still bring it up today. I have cousins that, I was watching the game, and this and that, a great game. Even my mother-in-law, she says, that was one of the best games I've ever seen. It's it's pretty cool, and I think this will be the 10th year since we won. So definitely a pretty cool experience. And every time I get home, I always take a little peek at the ring. It's pretty cool too. Obviously it's nice to have a ring when you win, but it's the memories you make along the way. And definitely, like I said, a cool experience. I'm very fortunate to be on that team to help be a part of the win.
Yeah, I didn't know that you lost in the second round. That's definitely that would suck knowing that you're the host team. Like, holy shit, we got a couple of weeks here of some hell.
Yeah. They wanted to try to fire the coach and bring in Michel Therrien, and Bob Hartley was there for a bit. It was definitely not good. And the coach probably took out some of his frustration and anger on us in practice, and we definitely felt it. But he was definitely one of the reasons why we won. He was a great coach. Still stay in touch with him, and he kind of gave a little speech beforehand. It's going to be hard. We're going to do a lot of hard work, but hopefully someday you can sit back with your ring, and you're talking to a buddy and you're having a beer, and you would do it. I don't know if it's a French expression, but it'd be just like a clink, clink, clink with your ring on the cup, and definitely something that stuck with me. And anytime I see him, I always bring it up. But it was definitely a team effort to win that one. And like I said, definitely very fortunate to be on that team.
Yeah, it seems like you earned that one.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah, we definitely earned every inch of that one.
We're hosting this year, and I was like, boys, we better not lose, because it's not, I know we're going, but the time in between could be very, very different. Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely want to try to make it the whole way.
Sure.
Just from experience.
Yeah. Noted.
Too bad for time, I guess.
Yeah. I'm not sure if we're missing over anything here. But do you have any plans for the coming year? I mean, I had a question lined up here. Your numbers in the Dell, just looking at your stats wise, just on the page, they look like they jump off compared to the other ones. Is there a reason you think you find more success in some leagues rather than others, whether it's the just quality of the league or the way that it's played? I know the game can be pretty different depending on where you're playing it.
Yeah, I mean, this year my stats haven't been as good as they maybe normally are here, but I think it's just a different league. You meet up, especially at the Olympics in Davos, with all the players from different leagues, and you can really tell. Being in Europe for a while, you can really tell when you're watching players, and you can tell what league they play in, just because Germany's more North American, like AHL type. It's more heavy, physical battles, north-south. The ice is bigger, so that, you get a little bit more time with the puck, because, it's 6 feet on each side. And, if you're a fan, maybe you think, 6 feet each side isn't bad, but just being in Beijing on the small ice, and you get back to this ice, you're in a drill, you're huffing and puffing when you're getting the back of the line, because it's just a lot more skating in Europe. And yeah, I think it took me a while I went to Sweden right away, and it was just, first time in Europe, and just such a different style of game. I think it took me a while to get adjusted, and I enjoyed where I was started in Skellefteå, but I just wasn't playing good. And, when you're not playing good, you're not enjoying it as much. And ended up getting traded, luckily, to Fagerstad, which I was able to play a lot better and just kind of relaxed and started to enjoy it more. And then I went to Germany after that and kind of kept it rolling, I guess. And I played a ton too there. I was lucky. I was able to play a lot, and we know when you're playing a lot, obviously you're going to have, well, hopefully you're going to have success, and luckily I was able to. And then I went to Russia, and yeah, they're just all different leagues. Russia, it's pure skill and puck possession, whereas Germany here, it's get the puck deep, go to work, and just like you would in North America. And but yeah, no, I was really enjoying it in Germany, and I definitely, if I can stay here for the rest of my career, I definitely will. And like I said, my family enjoys it here, so I think that's the most important thing is if your family and everyone's enjoying it. Like my kids, they both go to daycare just down the street, about 150 meters. So it's, like I said, the setup here is unbelievable, and the boys love it at the daycare. So it's like I tell you, what more can you ask for? If your family likes it, you like it. It's people always say, oh, you always wonder what if, the grass is always greener, but for the most part, it's not. So if you can find a spot where you really enjoy it, I mean, definitely try to stay here for as long as I can.
Wicked. Yeah, you got a good gig. Yeah, if you're content, then no point of changing it up.
Yeah, exactly.
You're just playing with a pretty big name, Owen Power. Do you have any thoughts on him? Do you think he's an elite talent or what?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, yeah, he was, like, when I was playing, he was my stallmate beside me. He was so much skill. I mean, he's a big body, skates well. I mean, there's a reason why he went first overall. So it's, obviously you guys will be hearing a lot about him here in the future, and just a great kid too. He's only young. He's maybe 19, 20 years old. And just, a lot of those kids in the Olympic team, just to have the confidence they have at that age. Like, you think back when you were that age, like, the game's obviously changed a lot, but yeah, he's definitely going to be a household name for sure. I mean, he's already played Olympics, World Championships, World Juniors, so he's definitely have a bright future. And just being such a good kid too, you just wish nothing but the best for him.
Do you think getting exposed to a big stage like the Memorial Cup or all those tournaments that he's played in can really help the development for whenever they get to the NHL?
Oh, for sure. Anytime you can play in those big games, the high pressure situations, it's, whenever you come into another one, you just draw from your previous experience, and hopefully it was good. And you can just kind of continue through that. And, that's how people as players get better. You just, never get too comfortable. It's just always want to do better. And he's a guy that's going to do really well because he's so skilled and gifted. But yeah, definitely for him, being in those situations definitely helped his career. And I think it's just, you watch him, he has so much poise and confidence with the puck, and it's only going to continue to grow the more he plays. And, if they can get into deep playoff runs and whatever it may be, he's going to do well for sure.
Yeah, cool. And I have one more question too. You're living in Germany. Have you been to Oktoberfest yet? And is it awesome or what?
No, when I was in Cologne, they had something called Carnival instead. So Carnival is basically a week where people would just dress up in, we would call them Halloween costumes, and you would just go to bars and stuff like that. But in Bavaria, the south of Germany, that's where Oktoberfest is. And where I was last year, it was canceled, so we couldn't go. But definitely, if I could go while I'm over here, I definitely would like to participate in it, see how it is.
Yeah,
because obviously you walk beer fest, you think that's what it's all about. But no, it's a pretty cool history to it, and just kind of stuff like that you can take in to see the culture. It's definitely, you appreciate things more, why people are the way they are. And we spent a lot of time at a buddy's spot. He owned a hotel last year, and he'd tell us all about Oktoberfest and what he would do. And so it was pretty cool. And if I can definitely take it in, I'm going to take the advantage for sure.
100%. Nice.
Well, we're running out of time here. I want to thank you again for coming on. It's really been awesome. Congratulations on playing in Beijing, being an Olympian, especially an Islander. We love to see that.
Yeah. Yeah, best of luck in Germany this year.
Yeah, we'll be following along for sure.
Yeah, no, appreciate it, guys. Thanks for the kind words, and and pleasure being on here with you.
Awesome. Thanks.
Unreal.
Have a good one.
Yeah. All right, guys. Take care.
Thanks, man.
See ya.
See you later.